Good evening and welcome to the HometownNewsTV.com. I'm Lori Young.
And I'm John Young. As we kick off our show tonight, I'd like to remind everyone to please like and share our videos on Facebook with our weekly little news show we've been doing here. We've got a lot of people who have been looking forward to the Thursday night video, but we'd like to reach more folks with that. So please take a moment to like and share the video so we'll have a few more people seeing us each week on Facebook.
In this week's Hometown News, we have Harvey McKay, Perspective Desires a Second Look, looking at things from a different point of view. Tom Keene, The Good Old Days, Remembering is his article, and he shares some of the prices from the past. Dave says his first part is teaching preteens the value of giving instead of receiving, especially with Christmas coming up. And the second part is trusting a medical facility with your banking and credit card information. John's article this week from the Small Town DIY, and his article is Local Hardware Store Changes Hands. And John, it's interesting actually when you have a new business that changes hands, how you kind of reminisce about some of the experience that you've had there.
Especially when it's that the owners have been there for 41 years. That's a long, long time for anything almost in this world. But it really takes you back to thinking about those early days of your first experience with the business, whatever that business may be.
Mm-hmm. I know Steve Neville is actually the new owner, and he's going to be changing the name over to Neville Hardware. And talking with them, Steve on Monday, when they did the changeover, had shared that he remembers as a kid that every spring, the first thing they had to do was go to Bitts Hardware. They had to get the key because in the fall, they would leave the key there. Dave at the time was also in partnership with the hardware store. And Dave would always blow the water lines out at their cabin. And come spring, he would go and open up their cabin and get it all ready. So when they came, they went straight to the hardware store. They got the key and everything was always set up for them.
And back before travel was so easy and prevalent as it is today, that was a destination on a weekend, which was something that it just seems so foreign to us today. But you were just talking about that the other day, that it was a big thing to go up to the different businesses on a Friday night.
Yes, it was. As a matter of fact, my mom used to do daycare and my dad did cabinetry work. And when the kids would go home Fridays, that's when the paychecks were always given out, and that's when mom would get paid. And it was probably around 8 o'clock at night. We would start off by going to the bank, the Swanville Bank there. I think it was the First State Bank. I don't remember if it was Swanville but it was the First State Bank in Graygill there in the same location. The credit union did not exist at that time, but we always started at the credit union. We always went to Bitts Hardware, and then we went to Delmar Duma. I believe his hardware store was our own hardware store at the time. And we always went to McDermott's Supermarket afterwards, and we would buy groceries for the next week. And that was our Friday night. We would probably leave home around 8 o'clock at night and do all of our shopping on a Friday night and be back home shortly after 9 because that's when everything closed.
Yeah, how times have changed. Now everything by 5 o'clock, the town besides the gas station is pretty quiet.
Yeah. Oh, and then you got your local bars that have their food and such for meals.
Yeah, things have changed with that.
And in this week's Hometown News with the upcoming events, it is Deer Hunters weekend. So please go check out many of the bars and grills in the area have Deer Hunter specials. And Time Out Bar and Grill in Upsala is actually having a Deer Widows weekend where they have different events that are going to be going on all day on Saturday starting at 9 o'clock. They have their sip and shop, so they'll have a lot of vendors on hand already at 9 o'clock in the morning. So you might need to set your alarm instead of sleeping in to go catch up on a lot of the fun activities going on. Our Savior's Women's Group is having a craft sale this Saturday, November 4th from 9 till 2 p.m. at Our Savior's Lutheran Church in Albany. The Holding Ford Craft Sale will be held this Saturday, November 4th from 9 until 3 at the Holding Ford Legion and City Hall. St. Paul's Lutheran Church in Melrose is holding a spaghetti supper, silent auction, and bake sale on Wednesday, November 8th from 4:30 to 8 p.m. at the American Legion in Melrose. Next Saturday, November 11th, Sacred Heart School invites you to their annual soup and rummage sale at the Sacred Heart Church basement in Freeport from 8 until 2 p.m. Also next Saturday, November 11th, there will be a craft and bake sale at the Word of Life Church in Upsala from 8:30 to 1 p.m. And a reminder that the Upsala Elementary is holding their book fair, which will be coming up on Monday, November 6th and going through November 13th, and it's a great spot to pick up some great reading material and also some Christmas gifts. The Upsala Elementary Parent-Teachers Conferences are also coming up along with their Title I meeting. Check out this week's Hometown News for all the details on that.
This past week, Morrison County has set the special election procedure that they'll be using for filling the vacant seat that was held by Dwayne Johnson of Swanville, who passed away on October 12th. According to state law, a seat must be filled by a special election if it would be vacant for over 1 year. And unfortunately, the next election cycle for 2018 would be just a little over 1 year, so Morrison County is going to have to hold a special election. The filing date for the seat are going to be in early December, from December 5th through December 19th. Then the election will be happening in February of 2018, with the person that was winning the election will be seated sometime in late March or early April. And unfortunately, they will have to refile come May for next fall's election to continue that seat. Dwayne Johnson was a longtime member of the Swanville community. He was on the Lions, he was the past mayor of Swanville, and of course he was a county commissioner in Morrison County. And this picture was sent to us from the Swanville Lions as they put a little tribute together for Dwayne Johnson for his many years of community service and of course service to the Lions Club in the Swanville area.
For this week's obituaries, we have Gerald A. Jerry Winsman, age 74, of Spring Hill, passed away Thursday, October 26th. Funeral services were held today, Thursday, November 2nd, at St. Michael's Catholic Church in Spring Hill. Eleanor M. Ellie Mitchell, age 90, of Albany, died Thursday, October 26th. Services were held Monday, October 30th, at the Seven Dolors Catholic Church in Albany. Marilyn A. Schaefer, age 83, of New Munich, passed away Wednesday, October 25th. Services were held Saturday, October 28th, at Immaculate Conception Catholic Church in New Munich. Robert H. Rob Leach, age 56, of Melrose, died Saturday, October 28th. A celebration of life is being planned, so watch for more details. Joyce L. Yarkey, age 66, of St. Augusta and formerly of Meyer Grove, died Monday, October 30th. Services will be held at 11 a.m. Friday, November 3rd, at St. John the Baptist Catholic Church in Meyer Grove. Roger F. Schmidt, age 83, of Holdingford, died Sunday, October 29th. Services will be held Friday, November 3rd at 10 a.m. at St. Mary's Church in Holdingford. Services were held Saturday, October 28th for Violet R. Mahar, age 83, formerly of Holdingford, at St. Columbakill Catholic Church in St. Wendell. Mavis I. Eckes, age 92, of Long Prairie, died Saturday, October 28th. Services will be held at 11 a.m. Friday, November 3rd at First Baptist Church in Long Prairie. Check out all the full obituary write-ups in this week's Hometown News.
Landowners in the Upsala area are going to be going to the polls next Tuesday to vote on renewing the current referendum that is going on with the Upsala School District. This will not increase anyone's taxes, any landowner taxes. This is basically a continuation for another 10 years of the current referendum that is going on in the Upsala School District. They don't need to increase any of their funding. They're able to continue at the same rate they are now. Reports from the Upsala School, there might be a slight decrease in the property taxes that the property owners will be paying. Voting on a referendum will happen next Tuesday from 4 to 8 p.m. at the Upsala Commons.
For this week's birth announcements, we have Kennedy Elise Blank was born to Christina and Chris Blank of Sauk Center on October 16th. Tanea Ray Ann Shelton was born Wednesday, October 25th, to Sarah and Leon Shelton of Melrose. Congratulations going out to Caitlin Noner for Senior High Student of the Month in Swanville, and Rebecca Muhlenkamp for the Junior High Student of the Month in Swanville. And for this week's photos in the Hometown News, we have on the front page our new owner, Steve Neville, with Neville Hardware in Grey Eagle. Our Minnesota Through the Lens, yesterday with the snow, Judy Van Heel submitted this photo with turkeys making a visit in her backyard.
And it looks like we're going to see some more snow this weekend, with the predictions anywhere from 1 inch to 5 inches of snow possible between Friday night and Saturday morning.
Grey Eagle Bertram Lions presented a check to the Long Prairie Grey Eagle Activities Scholarship Fund. Long Prairie Grey Eagle FFA Soils team took first place in the region's competition, and they will advance to state. Long Prairie Grey Eagle FFA General Livestock team took 7th place. And we have some spooky photos here from the Grey Eagle seniors as they held their annual Halloween potluck party. Look at the great costumes. I believe this is Florence Cheetah. She took first place. Great job.
And the Upsala Elementary had their annual Halloween parade this past week. The kids all line up in a gymnasium and all grades parade around the gym displaying their Halloween costumes for everyone to see. They even got the teachers involved this year as they all dressed up as different characters from the Trolls movie. And you can visit our Facebook page and see the full parade with all the kids in action. So that pretty much wraps up our show for this week. Now remember, this weekend is the daylight savings time. All that will be ending, so we're going to be falling back with our clock Saturday night. This is really one of my favorite times of year to get that 1 extra hour of sleep.
I never seem to catch up with that, though.
No.
I just stay up another hour later and...
You just don't get enough sleep that way. But remember, it'll be deer hunting weekend. Be a little careful out there. Make sure your animals are staying close to the house, because if they get too far away and they look like our brown dogs, it could be trouble. So keep an eye on things this weekend and enjoy the outdoors, even though it's going to be a little cold out there.
I think winter's here.
I think it is. And that's not a great sign for those of us who really don't like winter.
Actually, if we had a couple more days to prepare, would have been nice. It seemed like we went from 70 to frigid cold like overnight. So I was really surprised when the snow had started to accumulate the other day, because again, it was just kind of a slap of reality that Mother Nature can change overnight. And
yes, and she doesn't want to play nice with us sometimes.
The kids were pretty excited, though. When they got off the bus, they had hustled and made some snowmen in our yard. And this morning, they were kind of sad because they were looking a little on the droopy side.
As I was driving around today, I noticed a few kids had gotten out last night and made some snowmen, but they're just all starting to look kind of droopy as this weather isn't quite cold enough to keep them in the yard for the season. Thank you for watching our show tonight. Again, remember, if you can, please share and like the videos, because that helps us to have a little bit more reach on Facebook.
Check out this week's Hometown News for all of our great stories and photos, classified ads, help wanted ads, and our local advertisers. Do business with them and thank them for bringing you the Hometown News. This is Lori Young.
And I'm John Young with the Hometown News TV. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Good night.